Long story short, I've been covering my sister's rent and childcare costs for the last 2 years, since she claimed she was going back to school. I recently learned she hasn't returned to school, so I cut her off. Our mother is angry since this runs the risk of having my toddler niece out on the streets. I told my mom that it wasn't my problem at this point. My sister lied and didn't follow through with her end of the deal. My phone has been blown up by my family calling me heartless. Am I really in the wrong? Was I being overly harsh and unsympathetic towards my sister? I've paid over $42,000 for rent alone and probably around $19,000 for childcare. The original agreement was she would take classes to finish up her nursing degree since she had to put it on the back burner when she got pregnant by her deadbeat boyfriend who is out of the picture. Thankfully, she at the very least has been working part-time in a nursing home. Our mom lives in a rent-controlled apartment that is 1 bedroom and part of a 55-plus community. Mom couldn't afford to pay her sister's rent, she's on a fixed income. I was doing so because I wanted to give her a fair shot. No one else will step up, but I've blocked all their numbers on my phone and WhatsApp. Some of me feel bad, but I cannot keep swooping in to save the day. Am I the idiot for not covering my sister and forcing her and my niece to become homeless? Not the idiot. If your family is bothered, I suggest they cover her rent and childcare. You can't set yourself on fire to keep someone warm, especially because she lied for 2 years. Also, the only person responsible for your niece is your sister. Agreed. She's responsible for getting child support from her ex-boyfriend. I hate that the successful person who did things right in the family is expected to cover the deadbeat's butt. I see this so much. $61,000 is a ton to blow on someone else's mess, even family. The sister should feel like a loser whenever they accept the money. If they don't, then they are entitled as heck and are playing the victim. She was mooching for 2 years and this family is telling OP they're the villain? Child, please, I can't believe they aren't extremely grateful for the 2 years of support. Do something nice and you're obligated for life? Think of the amount of assistance you've provided. Public assistance ends eventually. Has she applied for it too, or is it just easier for her to sponge forever? Oh no, now sister might have to get, horrors, a job and support herself and her child without sponging off you. What has she been doing for the last 2 years? Since you said you've been covering for childcare, there's a part of the day that she's free. Has she been working? Has she been binging Netflix? What has she been doing? Jesus, she scammed you for 2 years. If your mom is upset, she can pay the funds or take your niece in. Tell her, I paid for 2 years, it's your turn. And to everyone who texts you, reply with, here's sister's Venmo, you're free to send her as much as you'd like to help her out. People who lie about educational funds are scum. Too many folks struggle to get that opportunity and she squandered it. I'm a 48-year-old female and my eldest son is 22. He's been with his fiancée, daughter-in-law, since they were 20 and he wants to marry her. I'd always liked her before now. She's a smart girl, fits in well with the family, is driven and makes my son happy. Everything was all roses until they got engaged. Since I was little, I've been fascinated with jewelry. When I was older, married and had income, I started collecting rings. I would design them myself, used to ask friends and family to give me the cash I could put towards them and save up my disposable income towards whatever ring I wanted. It's my family's custom to always give cash at celebrations. It's also very normal in my community to ask your friends to give cash. I've done this myself for my friends. However, the majority of the cost of each piece of jewelry was always borne by me. Whatever I got from birthdays was a bonus top-up, not something I relied on to be able to afford it. I wasn't buying one every year, but over time I have a nice collection of rings. My favourites are a sapphire with a halo of diamonds, an emerald in a trilogy with 1-carat diamonds on either side, and a ruby set in a pavé band. After my son got engaged, we invited him and daughter-in-law to dinner at our home, and daughter-in-law asked to speak to me. She said she'd been seeing my emerald ring over the years and she's always wanted one. She pointed out that I wear it least often, which is true, and demanded that I gift it to her as an heirloom engagement ring. This is in addition to other wedding gifts and expenses we'd discussed as a family during dinner. This includes gold to the value of approximately £6,000, which is honestly more than my entire wedding cost, which I still think is a significant amount. This rubbed me the wrong way and I admit I accused her of trying to pick through my estate before I was even dead. I told her the ring was mine and I could sell it on my deathbed if I wanted to. She had no right to expect it and she was being a rude brat by demanding it. She yelled at me that a ring like that can't just be sold, it should be an heirloom, and it's normal for heirlooms to be passed on while the wearer is still alive. I told her to leave if she was just in my home to demand my property, and she stormed out, taking my son with her. She's mad at me, and my son says I should have just passed the ring to her since I have others, and it would be a nice gesture to welcome her to the family. He says it's no different than his sister occasionally borrowing some of my pieces. My husband and daughter are on my side, but this is the first time my son has shut me out like this. So, am I the idiot? Edit, daughter-in-law has an engagement ring already. It's a 1-carat round-cut diamond in a half-pavé platinum band, the highest clarity in colour. The 4 C's were adhered to. She was wearing it, and my husband and I even admired it during the dinner. For context, her ring is certainly not cheap. Son took my advice on choosing the best stone for the ring when he bought it and told me that was the design she wanted. My husband and I have put aside money for his wedding. Also, I have a long relationship with my jeweller, so he doesn't charge as much for the making charge as he would to other customers, so my son got a considerable discount. Every woman, even a young, dumb 20-year-old woman, knows better than try to invade another woman's jewelry box or shoe closet and to insinuate you are past your prime so you don't need those anymore. She's not that smart, that cookie. You are not the idiot, my dear. Your future daughter-in-law sounds crazy, and they are still very young to be getting married. Good luck with her in the future. I feel you'll need it. Oh, hold up. You and your husband have already helped subsidize the engagement ring she has, and now it's not good enough and she wants another? Your daughter-in-law is quite the entitled gold or emerald digger. If she wanted it for an engagement ring, the proper thing would have been for your son to discuss it with you. Her asking for it is shocking and rude. It's not an heirloom if you're the first owner in the family. Heirlooms tend to have generations behind them, and they're not necessarily given away during the owner's lifetime. Many family mementos are distributed as part of an estate after the owner is deceased. Don't loan anything to her, or you'll never see it again. If she ever comes to your house again, make sure your rings are somewhere she cannot access. If she's as entitled as she seems, she may not balk at simply taking something she thinks she deserves. I mean, hopefully I'm just paranoid, but she's behaved so far, and it can't hurt to be on the safe side. And if you want someone specific to have any of your jewelry after you're gone, you should be very specific so she can't simply claim it all as hers. My ex-wife, 28 Jane, and I, 28 male, divorced 4 years ago after 8 months of marriage. She was caught cheating on me. We didn't have any kids. When we divorced, I became depressed and focused on spending time on my project. And after years of struggling financially and mentally, I managed to start my own business. I'm doing quite well financially, and a year ago I met Aisha, 25 female. We've been dating ever since, and I'm so happy to have her in my life. Jane got married a few years ago and has 3 kids, but her husband left her and she's a single mother now. She's struggling financially to raise her kids. I feel bad for her because despite her cheating on me, she was my first love, so I offered to help her out. I've been sending her money every month since last year and would sometimes look after her kids. Aisha found out about this last week and blew up on me. She said what I'm doing to her is also considered cheating and wants me to stop because she doesn't feel comfortable. She asked me if Jane had tried flirting with me, and I said yes, but I set boundaries and told her that I wasn't interested in a relationship with her. This angered Aisha, so she dropped me. I was planning to propose next month and my whole world disappeared in a second. I tried reaching out, but Aisha isn't responding. My friends who like Aisha are disappointed in me. They call me the idiot for helping out Jane because I don't owe her anything and she's taking advantage of me. Am I the idiot? I don't get it. You were married to someone for 8 months, she cheats on you, and then you pay her? What the heck? Why? You owe this woman nothing. I flirted with you because she sees you as a meal ticket that she can use and abuse. Where's your self-respect? If someone cheated on me, I'd certainly not help them financially, regardless of their circumstance after the breakup. I'm not surprised Aisha dumped you. If I were in her shoes, I'd be upset, angry, and baffled by your behavior, and suspect you're sleeping with your ex, plus disgusted at you for being a doormat. You are still emotionally pining for your ex-wife. Aisha is correct. You were cheating on her. My former stepmother, my late father's widow, is terminally ill. I haven't seen her since his death 7 years ago. I kept minimal contact with my half-siblings, teens through her, but not closely. My relationships with them were complicated, but I didn't care for the woman. My former stepmother's brother contacted me and told me she needs someone to take care of her now, and it shouldn't fall on my half-siblings and cannot fall on him as he lives in another state. Her condition is terminal, and they believe she has less than a year left. Her brother told me that I should take responsibility for helping to care for her, given she was my stepmother for so many years of my life, and she's the mother to the 2 kids I should be willing to take in once she's passed. He told me refusing to care for their mother was going to end my relationship with them permanently. For those wondering about the background, my mom and my former stepmother were very close friends, and before my mom's death, my former stepmother and father betrayed her by carrying out an affair. I overheard the fight when my mom found out the truth. Once my mom had passed, my former stepmother decided to create a massive scene at my mom's funeral. She insulted my mom's parents and insulted her sisters after they said my former stepmother had no place at the funeral. She tried to say that she would always have a place as my future stepmother and mom's closest friend. I called her names that day. She told me I would regret it one day. That day has never come, but she did revel in telling me all my mom's flaws after she and my dad married. I never saw Dad the same way either, but he refused to let the relationship go completely and did his best to maintain contact once I left his house. He died when I was 20. I told stepmom's brother I wouldn't care for his sister, and I made it very clear to him that I was not going to make her end of life any easier than she made my mom's. My half-siblings called me and told me their mom was asking for me, and they were scared and wanted me to be there at the end. They said she needed someone to help her, and they can only do so much with school that they hate leaving her alone. I told them I was sorry, and I knew what it was like to watch your mom slowly fade, but I was not the one to do it. My half-brother asked if I didn't love her at all after all this time. I said no. He told me to stay away from her then and from them as well. My father's sister heard about all that happened, and she told me I should be more mature than that and more loving and compassionate to my half-siblings. She told me I should love them more than I hate their mom and agree to care for her to make their next year much less stressful. When I refused, she called me a cruel and selfish person, and she told me I was behaving like the very person I hated the most. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. This is not a closely related person to you. She has a closer family which is trying to shift responsibility to you. That's strange and unethical on their part. Also, did they contact you just because they needed help? LOL. It looks like he's the kind of person who starts the contact when he needs help, so basically, he's looking for a mule to do the work for him. I think you shouldn't worry about that. I'd say your conscience is clean. He told me refusing to care for their mother is going to end my relationship with them permanently. Nice try on emotional blackmail, if only the threat would work. So idiocy runs in this family. That is another reason to stay away from these people. She told me I would regret it one day. No, she is regretting it right now, I would guess. Let your stepmom's family take care of her and take in the kids after her death. I'm fascinated by all these people who are so eager to tell you that this is your responsibility and yours alone. Not to mention, you're still pretty young if I've calculated it correctly. You're not a blood relative, and to even think to direct criticism at you just opens up such a floodgate of crushing responses, I'm surprised anyone was dumb enough to try. I'd run with, I suggest you continue your search for someone to offload your responsibilities to elsewhere. My wife, 38, and I, 40, have been married 9 years. We have a pre-tween son together, and she has a teen daughter, Jenna, from a previous relationship. And I have an 18-year-old daughter, Dawn, and a young teen daughter from my ex-wife. Dawn still lives at home, finishing up her senior year this year. She's been my easy one. She earned money since she was 10, babysitting, cleaning, and working since she was 14. She's been at her current job for the last 2 years, saving up money and doing nails on the side. She also is in all honours this year with an A average so far. So my ex-wife and I decided it was okay for me to give her my brother's car he was selling. I got a great deal for it. We felt she really deserved it. When I told my wife this, she got upset because my stepdaughter just got her license a few weeks ago. Jenna doesn't have a job and can't pay for car insurance, nor has she been on the road that long. I told my wife this, and she said that Jenna would feel like I'm favouriting Dawn and that she honestly doesn't blame her because this is what it looks like. I told her that wasn't it and that Jenna could borrow our car, but I felt Dawn really earned it this year, and she's 18 and has 3 years of driving experience. She argued that Jenna deserves it as well, and I said while Jenna does get good grades, she still wouldn't be able to pay insurance and doesn't have the driving experience. My wife then got angry and said she should have been included in this decision, not my ex-wife, since Dawn lives with us, and how I was being unfair. She made herself a strong drink, went into the living room, and told me I caused her to do that. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. Your 18-year-old has earned a car. In 3 years, if the teen earns one, then she should get the same budget for a car. She shouldn't get a car now. However, if her father wants to buy her a car now, that's on him. The whole "you made me drink" is total BS. That needs to be addressed. That is a huge problem. Your wife is very manipulative. First, you did not cause her to pour a strong drink. Second, your daughter can support a car, but the other daughter is not able to support a car. Third, your daughter is older. Fourth, your daughter has much more experience driving. Kids get different privileges at different ages. That's how life is. Did your wife chip in for your daughter's car? No. She's out of her mind for expecting you to even help with her desire to get her daughter a car. She can dip into her savings and pay for a little hoopty alone. It is pure manipulation by your current wife, who favors her daughter above any logical reasons. She's the type of person who wants all of you for her and her daughter regardless of anything.